Canada in Washington. Claire Finkelstein is the director of the Center for Ethics and the Rule of Law at the University of Pennsylvania Law School. She joins us now live via Skype from Philadelphia. Good to have you with us. So what does Michael Cohen's admission actually tell us about President Trump and his campaign's relations with the Russians, and how badly does all of this rub off on the president?
Well, this has significant implications for the president, because Michael Cohen suggested that he lied when he told members of Congress that the president's dealings with Moscow stopped in January of 2016, whereas in fact they continued well into June, after Donald Trump was already named the Republican nominee for president. Not only does it suggest that Donald Trump lied on numerous occasions, but it also suggested that members of his family were involved in this and that they lied. Don Jr. in particular last year testified before Congress, and there's a strong suggestion that he may have lied about some of the very same issues. And finally, there's an important question here, which is whether or not the president encouraged both his son and his former lawyer to lie to Congress. And that would be the crime of subornation of perjury, encouraging someone else to lie, which, as you may remember, was one of the impeachment charges against President Clinton, because he had encouraged Monica Lewinsky to sign a false affidavit about the nature of her contact with Bill Clinton. So there could be significant ramifications for the president in the content of this guilty plea.
OK, so how does this advance the Muller investigation in terms of actually claiming a scalp, and also in terms of claiming someone who clearly seems to be cooperating at the moment with the investigation, as Mr. Cohen is doing?
Well, that's right. This is the first time that Robert Mueller has brought charges himself directly against Michael Cohen. The previous charges were from the U.S. Attorney's Office. So Michael Cohen now, in taking this guilty plea, almost certainly would not be doing that without a strong cooperation agreement with Robert Mueller. And that suggests that Robert Mueller is getting value out of Michael Cohen, as we see emerging, that any way in which he may have been holding back is probably going to be dispelled now, and that Michael Cohen will be a fully cooperating witness. And there's an awful lot that he can tell about Donald Trump's business dealings and other matters that will seriously implicate the president, and, as I say, probably Ivanka and also Don Jr.
OK, I'm going to say that word now, impeachment. Does this make the whole ongoing question of impeachment now that little bit likelier?
It does indeed, because it suggests that, first of all, the president has been consistently untruthful with the American people. And while that is not necessarily a high crime or misdemeanor, the degree to which Republican members of Congress are willing to continue supporting him when he's been dishonest with them, and when members of his family have been dishonest with them, that may start to wear thin at some point. But another concern is that there looks as though there was a massive defense agreement between the president, members of his inner circle, members of his campaign, Paul Manafort, and that may even have involved the Russians in a continuing way into his presidency. And if that's the case, then we really do have a clear case of collusion and a possible plan with the Russians, a conspiracy to obstruct justice with Russian assistance. So obstruction of justice, subornation of perjury, and then, of course, we don't know whether or not the president was truthful in answering the questions that he supplied to Robert Mueller last week. That could be another source, very problematic for the president if he lied on those forms.
Claire, good to talk to you. Many thanks indeed. Claire Finkelstein there from the Pennsylvania Law School.